On this video, we will share some of the best things that we did in the outer areas of Edinburgh. And most of these locations can be visited with a 30-minute to 1-hour drive from Glasgow or Edinburgh. Blackness Castle is located on the south shore of the Firth of Forth, in the village of Blackness, Scotland. Because of its ship-like shape, the castle is known as the ship that never sailed. And from the seaward side, it looks just like a stone ship that has run aground. The south tower is known as the stern tower, while the north tower at the more pointy end of the castle is known as the stem tower. The courtyard is formed largely of natural rock and still looks extremely uneven after 6 centuries of constant wear. This fortress was built in the 15th century and was one of the main residences of the Scottish monarch, and in 1453 passed to James II of Scotland and has been crown property ever since. It also served as a state prison after 1537, when James V began to convert the castle into a state prison and artillery fortification. It then became one of the most advanced artillery fortifications of its time in Scotland, but a century later it was not enough to prevent it being taken by Oliver Cromwell's army in 1650. After the castle was repaired some years later, it again served as a prison and garrison. In the later 1700s, Blackness was a prison of war for foreign sailors and soldiers captured during the wars with France, Spain, and the early United States. And then from the 1870s until 1912, the castle was used as an ammunition depot and was briefly used by the Army in World War I. It is now in the care of Historic Environment Scotland. Since the castle's restoration, it has been open to the public as a historic monument. We did not get a chance to visit it inside this time, but were able to explore the grounds on the outside. Blackness Castle has also been used as a filming location in several productions, including Hamlet and Doomsday. And on television, it has been featured in Ivanhoe, Rise of the Clans, and more recently the Star series Outlander. In these Outlander scenes, the courtyard was used to show where Jaime was flogged when he was captured by the English soldiers. Jaime and Claire's escape and jumping into the ocean would not have been possible in real life, as the water does not reach very high as they made it look like on the series. From Blackness Castle, you can view the Forth bridges far off to the east, so we will head there next. The Forth bridges connect Edinburgh and Fife since 1890. The iconic 3 bridges span the Firth of Forth. They link North Queensferry and South Queensferry. We visited Port Edgar Marina in South Queensferry. It has a view of the marina and is close to the Forth Road Bridge, as you can see here. Queensferry Crossing is part of the M90 and is open to motorway traffic only. This cable bridge is the newest to be built and was opened in 2017. It is the longest 3-tower cable stayed bridge in the world. The Forth Road Bridge is the one in the middle and was inaugurated in 1964. It has dual 2-lane carriageway plus footways and cycle paths. Forth Bridge, the Red Railway, is the oldest of the structures and is now a UNESCO World Heritage Site. Opened in 1890, the Forth Bridge is a Scottish icon that is recognized as the most famous of cantilever designs. It is also the world's first major steel structure. This bridge is only open to trains and there is no pedestrian or cycle access. A full-scale restoration project to return the bridge to its original construction condition was completed in 2012. Another viewpoint we went to was High Street in South Queensferry. Here you can find several shops and restaurants along the street. We ate at Orocco Pier, which had a very nice view of the Forth Bridge. Hopetoun House is a country house near South Queensferry. The south wing of the house is occupied by the family of Adrian Hope, the 4th Marquess of Linlithgow. Building was in between 1699 and 1701, and it was later hugely extended from 1721 to 1748. And Hopetoun House has also been used in seasons 1, 2, and 3 of Outlander to recreate scenes in Scotland, England, and also Paris. During the summer months, part of the castle and gardens are open to visitors. The site can also be let for weddings, conferences, and filming. One can explore the grounds all around the house, as well as several rooms and areas inside. The alley or stable-looking areas were used as street scenes from Paris, as well as the stables from the Dunsany's estate. The back of the house was used as the Duke of Sandringham's home. And further back, near the lake and the tree areas, is where the duel took place in the TV show. These bedrooms are located upstairs in the Bruce house, named after William Bruce, who designed them. Most of these were also used in the TV show as part of the Paris house scenes. The red drawing room was used as the drawing room in the Duke of Sandringham's house, and as you can see, very little had to be changed for filming, mostly removing the electric lamps and changing the positions of the chairs.
The lady told me to run super fast across the room. Hopetoun House is also used in the very funny Netflix movie The Princess Switch 2 and 3.
If you decide to take this tour of Hopetoun House, make sure to check out the roof views, where you can see lots of the estate grounds from high up, as well as the Forth bridges. Culross is a village in Fife, located just 30 to 40 minutes away from Edinburgh by car. There's only close to 400 people that live in the village itself, but as of 2020, about 2,200 people live in the area, including Valleyfield. Culross used to be a port city in the Firth of Forth, and is believed to have been founded in the 6th century. Culross Palace dates back to 1597 and was built by Sir George Bruce, Laird of Carnock, a wealthy merchant. The palace was restored to the original mustard yellow color, and you can visit the historic rooms, which are still authentic to the time period, as well as the model 17th century garden in the back. Even though it was never a royal residence, James VI visited the palace in 1617, where it also gained the label of a royal burgh. The palace is now in the care of the National Trust for Scotland. After George Bruce passed, Culross fell into decline and became mostly a ghost town by the 19th century. Thankfully, the National Trust for Scotland was able to restore the palace and many of the houses here, bringing this charming little village back to life. We did not visit the inside of the palace this day because they were already sold out, so be sure to reserve that in advance. However, we were able to explore the outside and the rest of the village.
As you walk around the side of the palace, you will find stairs that lead to the top of the hill. It's a lot of steps, but very worth the view once you get to the top.
The garden is complete with raised beds, a covered walkway, and crushed shell paths. The herbs, vegetables, and fruit trees planted in the garden are types that were used in the early 17th century. Several motion pictures have used Culross as a filming location, including Captain America: The First Avenger from 2011 and Outlander beginning in 2013. The town is small enough to walk around and explore, and very quiet. We barely saw people walking around or cars driving, with the exception of the few tourists looking around the Outlander sites. This picturesque village appears like it has been frozen in time, with its charming cobblestone streets and quaint, cute houses.
If you like our videos, please subscribe to help us grow our channel.
We had lunch at the Red Lion Inn, which has some interesting history of its own. The building itself dates back to around 1570-1640. By the 1700s, it was one of 11 alehouses serving the population. And then by 2011, the Red Lion Inn was the sole alehouse serving the 395 residents and its visitors. Since we didn't have a reservation, we were still able to get some seats outside. So we definitely recommend getting a reservation if you want to try this place so that you can sit inside. Thankfully, it wasn't too cold this day we visited. Doune Castle is located near the village of Doune in the Stirling Council area. The castle sits on a wooded area near the River Teith. From Glasgow, it takes about 40 minutes by car to arrive here, and 1 hour if you're leaving from Edinburgh. The name Doune comes from the Gaelic Doune, meaning fort. Doune was built in the 13th century and then damaged after the wars for Scottish independence. The version we see here today is mostly from the reconstruction that happened in the 14th century when Robert Stewart, the first Duke of Albany and Governor of Scotland, acquired it. The castle is comprised of a large tower house over the entrance, which contained the rooms of the Lord and his family, and a separate tower containing the kitchen and the guest rooms. The two towers are linked together by the Great Hall. This castle is packed with history, so I'll try to give you a shorter version of it. After 1425, when the castle became a royal possession, many important people stayed at Doune, including Margaret Tudor and widows of James II, III, and IV respectively, when it was used as a dower house for the widows. Doune also played a part in all Jacobite risings, but specifically in the 1745 rising, Doune Castle was occupied by Charles Edward Stuart, our Bonnie Prince Charlie, and his Jacobite Highlanders. It was also used as a prison for government troops captured at the Battle of Falkirk. Several prisoners, held in the rooms above the kitchen, escaped by knotting together bed sheets and climbing from the window. Escapees included the author John Home and the minister John Witherspoon, who later moved to the American colonies and became a signatory of the United States Declaration of Independence. Doune has also appeared in many movies and TV shows, some of which include Game of Thrones, The Outlaw King, and Outlander. The castle deteriorated through the 18th century, and by 1800, Doune was a roofless ruin. It remained so until the 1880s, when George the Stuart, the 14th Earl of Moray, began repair works. The timber roofs were replaced, and the interiors, including the paneling in the Lord's Hall, were installed. The castle is now maintained by Historic Environment Scotland, having been donated to a predecessor organization by Douglas Stewart in 1984, and it is open to the public. These stairs lead you up to the kitchen area, one of the best appointed castle kitchens in Scotland of its date. It has an oven and a 5.5 meter wide fireplace. When dinner was ready, dishes were passed through these hatches for servants to serve at the Lord's table. Mary, Queen of Scots, stayed at Doune on several occasions, occupying the suite of rooms above the kitchen. Her son, King James VI, also visited several times, and he even authorized £300 be spent on repairs and improvements to the castle.
After the big feast we had for lunch, I just had to try out the latrine next to Mary's room.
In the Great Hall, this central fire would warm up the room as well as provide light. Its smoke vented through a roof hatch. Just imagine this giant room filled with tapestries all over the walls. Minstrels would announce dinner with music, while servants brought food from behind a screen. This hall was probably used as a private space for the Duke to entertain. And the room upstairs where there is no more floor was probably used by the Duchess. From this walkway, the Duke could go out and survey his lands. This oratory was a private place of worship for family and intimate friends. The floor tiles, timber paneling, and minstrel's gallery are all additions of the 1880s in this room. This is where the Duke would conduct business, administer justice, and receive his most honored guests.
Okay, so there's only 30 seconds left on this video. Hurry, click the subscribe button so you don't miss out on our next amazing videos.
If you haven't yet, check out our other Scotland videos on our channel after this.
And if you enjoyed this video, stay tuned for our next series, as we take on the Scottish Highlands by motorhome.
Here's our driver for the 7 days.
Also, if you are already subscribed to our channel, thank you so much.
If you like our videos, please subscribe so that we can grow our channel.